Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bléu Trudge. This for once is our first ever video in daylight. Yes, I know, our
Oh
first
my
daytime
god.
video.
Bro, I thought we were Batman. The way we used to only record at night.
Bro, we used to record at like 11 p.m. bro.
I know, right? Okay, so let's start with today's topic. Low key, I like genetically modified grapes more than real grapes, bro. What's your opinion on that?
Genetically modified organisms.
Bro, let me tell you, without seeds, let's be honest. Does anyone eat grapes with seeds?
Like Loki, yeah.
Why?
You
Because
find,
think about it. Bro, the ones with seeds are so bad. Like, you have to always spit them out or something.
or just chew
It's-
on them.
That's wild.
And then like a grape plant starts growing in your stomach.
No, but honestly, I think like genetically modified grapes are actually better. Or take.
Like, yes, I think most genetically modified food, especially, are better than their regular counterparts, right? But why are so many people against genetically modified organisms? Like, most people just fear genetically modified organisms without fully understanding them, right? So in this episode of the Bléu Trudge, we are going deeper into the world of genetically modified organisms and understanding if they're really good for you or just another marketing strategy.
Oh, Sashrik. Tell me, bro, what is a GMO?
You're asking me like I did a PhD on genetically modified organisms, bro. In simple terms, okay, a genetically modified organism, or more commonly known as a GMO, is just organisms whose DNA has been modified for our own benefit, right? That can be, organisms like cattle who have been, genetically edited to give stronger calves, or like,
Fatter meat.
yeah, or grapes without seeds. Like, it can range from anything that's living to like anything that's even dead, right?
Yeah. Like, for example, did y'all know that the genetically modified version of the banana is the only banana that exists? Like the naturally occurring banana has actually gone extinct.
Yeah, and I
Are
think
it?
that's really cool because one, the
How is that cool, bro? That's so sad.
no, because like the original banana, right? That wasn't very juicy. That wasn't, it was very dry. It was hard to eat on. And then out of nowhere, some scientist goes like, "Here you go. There's a new species of banana." And then that was the only species of banana back in the day that could resist this disease, right? And then once this disease actually came through, it wiped out the entire species except for this one banana. And then that's also really cool because, whenever you eat this banana flavored like candy, and then it doesn't really taste anything like actual bananas, because that's what real bananas tasted like.
Actually, I didn't know that.
And then the bananas that you eat now are the genetically modified ones. That's why they don't taste like each other.
What do you mean? I've never had banana. What have I had that's banana flavored? I don't remember actually.
Banana pudding.
Banana pudding? Ew, that's disgusting. Bro, I hate banana flavored shit. Like, bananas themselves are good, but like banana flavored food is kind of disgusting. I can't lie. Like, I mean, I'm sure you can make it work if you have the right chef and the right artistic medium, but it would.
Genetic modified organisms aren't always chemically or like surgically edited, right? It could also just be selective breeding.
Breeding.
Yeah.
That's
so
what
like
I
when,
do in Minecraft.
oh my god. Okay, so when most people say, seedless watermelons are bad for you because they use chemicals to like remove the seeds, Well, that's not completely true because using selective breeding, you can breed watermelons with less seeds and then eventually get seedless watermelons.
Yeah, and also like genetic modifications doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, bad for you, you know, even if it's like chemicals. Like everything is chemicals, technically speaking. So I don't know what's the beef with chemicals we have, bro.
Harsh chemicals. Chemicals that are bad for you.
Okay, talking about selective breeding. Humans have been modifying food for thousands of years. How is genetic modification any different? It's just the next step in the process, isn't it?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you agree with that?
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, so we should just put chemicals into everything we eat and we should become Wall-E people. Do you know, have you watched Wall-E?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
I haven't, bro.
You haven't? Bro, they like
Anyways, that's not the topic for this video, right?
put a clip of like the dystopian Wall-E future.
Yeah.
Okay. Sashik,
So, like,
are you
what's the main idea around genetically modified organisms, right? Humans have been modifying food for thousands of years, right? And like Rahul said, technology just made it faster. So why are we trying to resist this, right? Also, we have to look out for like the correct type of genetically modified organisms, right? Because let's say you have two types of seedless watermelons. One might be chemically treated so that the seeds don't exist, but the other one might be actually selectively bred and is completely fine for you.
Yeah, cause like, what's wrong with and even like selective breeding? We've been doing that for thousands of years. It's not It's not bad for us. So how is genetic modification any different to that? You know?
Yeah, like the modern dog is selectively bred.
Are they? That's wild.
Yeah, it's like some Chinese emperor, he wanted a pet that resembled something like a wolf but a lot smaller and tamer, because like everyone had cats back in the days, right? But he wanted something special, so he commissioned all the dog, like the wolf people in China, in the Tibetan plateau, and then after years of breeding, they just took smaller and smaller wolves until it was small to fit in your hands, right? And that's how the modern dog eventually came out.
Okay, so let's talk about pro GMO arguments, right? Let's talk about why GMOs are actually quite good, right? Well, as we learn in our science textbook in India, in CBSE, in NCRT, like there are these things called high yield variety of crops, which actually, you know, which have actually helped, you know, bring a lot of people out of, you know, hunger. And you know, after the British left, India actually had only one major famine, which was largely due to the high yield variety of crops, you know, which was genetically modified to give better yields. And also they are resistant to pests, they're resistant to droughts, and they just improve. They have higher calories per serving, you know, so it can feed more people in less food.
Yeah, like that's what the Green Revolution was all about.
Exactly. And I'm not saying like it was the only reason, but like it was one very major reason, you know.
So like
What's your
genetically modified organisms are good for the economy because like you spend less and get more food. It's good for
Yeah.
farmers because like
Yeah.
it's more resistive towards crop, you know, like crop diseases, and it's better for the environment because like there's less wastage, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that though, because I just plug myself into the wall with a charger.
Average Rahul behavior.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's discuss the fear of GMOs, right? The pushbacks.
It's mostly just old people criticizing GMOs because they're stupid and they don't get it, bro. They don't get that they've been using GMOs too back in their days. GMOs have existed since like 1940s, bro. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
So what are the concerns for GMOs, the scientific concerns, right? The unknown long-term effects of GMOs.
Yeah.
What would happen if we just selectively bred over and over and over again? Because I take this for example, right? Going back to the wolf scenario, let's say you wanted a smaller wolf, right? By taking smaller and smaller wolves, you're just removing that one factor that made the wolf the wolf. It's like the aggressive large build that that made it an apex predator, right? So while you're selectively breeding, you may be accidentally removing some characteristics that made that plant the plant, right? It may be like if you're, selectively breeding for a larger fruit, you may be removing the disease resistivity of that fruit.
Yeah, similar to how like the original bananas have actually gone extinct, and it's reducing the natural biodiversity of our planet. You know, and
Yeah.
that's why we need to send rockets into space and find another planet like Earth so we can find the original bananas again.
Yeah. The other option for this video was colonizing other planets.
So we've been making space videos, bro.
And the main question, right? Just because we can modify nature, should we modify it? Should humans intervene into, the path of nature? Should nature
Yeah.
just play it out, or should humans intervene into it?
I mean, but think about it though. Aren't we also a part of nature? You know, ha- like hunting. Isn't hunting technically playing with modifying with nature, or like cutting down animals for our gain? But even cavemen, even baboons do hunting, right? Right.
Yeah.
So like, what is the line between modifying nature and following the path, that was set for us? Like, how are we going against nature? What is going against? What does it even mean to go against nature? If that makes sense.
Deforestation. The world will collapse on itself.
Yeah, but that also just because like we are nature, bro. I don't get why we separate humans and nature. Because like, aren't we nature? What nature wills us to be?
I low-key agree with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we still have that caveman brain within us. And we still follow the laws of evolution and Darwin. And yeah. Okay, y'all. So there's this concept that I like to think about is like there are two extremes, right? And it's always a bell curve, you know?
Yeah,
And
like
the bell
not
curve
using GMO at all and
versus
completely relying on it.
yeah, both of them are like bad outcomes. But in the center, as it's a bell curve, the highest, ROI or return on investment or like value proposition, highest value is being in the center, the middle ground. And that's what I think we should do, right? We need to think about how we can preserve nature and its biodiversity whilst also how we can benefit humanity,
And like the highest return on investment. Okay, so the middle ground, right?
So what is the middle ground? Like,
Balancing what nature gave us with a little bit to improve on what the nature gave us instead of completely relying on it. Like, for example, again, going back to the wolf situation, like we have dogs, also known as the man's greatest friend, right? That is the best example of like selective breeding. Whereas if you look at bananas, right? we completely rely on the genetically modified one, and sweet corn too,
Yeah.
which isn't the best, because usually, though heavily genetically modified or selectively bred isn't always good for you, because you're removing the health factor while you're selectively breeding.
Yeah, exactly. We also need to find a middle ground between, economics and health, where it can be cheaper but also healthy for us.
Yeah.
So, how do you suggest we do that, Sashrik? I think low key we should just protest and storm the Bastille, you know,
Yeah.
and then
And then sell like the bricks of the Bastille to make a profit.
yeah, we just take the blood of the politicians and inject them into the apples and bananas, so that they become natural again.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so what's the key takeaway point from this episode?
So is and is oh, is the real danger science itself, or how humanity uses it?
Yeah. And like, most could solve like major global problems like world hunger. But going unchecked technology and like corporate controls creates real concerns that could affect global economy and like also not solve world hunger. And like Rahul
Yeah.
said, it's not technology by itself that's hurting us, it's the way we use it.
Exactly. Because technology, like the raw materials for technology already existed even in like the Stone Age. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's not a part of nature. It is.
Yeah.
But we
Okay,
just
and
got to see what we value. Do we value the existence of natural biodiversity, or do we just want to live inside, indoors, in the AC, air conditioned domes of the future?
Yeah. I would like to end this episode by saying people often fear new technology first, but sometimes the bigger risk is refusing to adapt. We're missing out on crazy things.
Bye bye.